Welcome to another gut-wrenching episode of Fearless TV, the program that goes beyond the edge any way we can. Coming up in the next half hour, we go telemark skiing, hardcore style in Japan. There's serious hang gliding action as we carve up the thermals at the Bond Stunt Double Training School. Plus, every man and his dog combining in an all-out snow race extravaganza, where we find out who's the smartest after all. All this and more on Fearless TV. Telemark skiing has long been regarded as one of the purest forms of snow travel, originally born out of a necessity to be able to remove skis during a long cross-country trip when climbing or traversing on areas with little snow cover. To enable this to happen, the bindings are only fixed at the front of the foot, with the heel able to pivot up and down and to some degree sideways. Every so often on a ski trip, you'll happen to come across a hardcore practitioner demonstrating his skills at the steepest section of the toughest run on the mountain or on the most inaccessible powder. These are the times when you truly wonder what the hell you're doing there and how good you really are. This guy just happened to be on the same lift chair as our cameraman, and after some initial language barriers were overcome, was only too happy to head off to take on some of the sweetest powder we'd ever seen. Apart from charging down tree runs in waist-deep white stuff, this guy prefers a balance pole or Japanese fighting stick to the traditional two-pole method, another original demonstration of individual expression. A great hunk of lumber also comes in handy if you happen to disturb a bear in hibernation, or for clearing the run if you're invaded by tourists. For those interested in doing away with the poles, the tip would be to check with your local snowfield authorities before you get thrown off the lift, and maybe practice up with something a bit smaller. Even with the alarming number of converts from skiing to snowboarding each year, freestyle skiing has managed to hang on to its dedicated followers over the years, and has even kicked in with a comeback in recent times. After all, there are still some tighter areas of trees and untouched powder that look pretty inviting, that are better suited to skis once you weigh up the risk. And there's still a reasonable percentage who prefer to head down the mountain face on. The rapid advancements in the development of powder skis, thanks to the Heli-Ski tour companies, has opened up even the remotest areas of the mountain and increased the buzz of floating through the powder for many. Steep and deep is the way to go for the practitioners of powder, with a few trees and jumps thrown in for good measure. With the onset of snowboarding over the last few years, and resorts catering to the ever-increasing number of boarders by building special features like snowboard parks, half-pipes and slalom courses, some freestyle skiers have returned to basic forms of expression, like telemark skiing, once purely associated with cross-country skiing. It's not very often that an extreme athlete has the chance to design their own piece of equipment, let alone is given the opportunity to build a whole range based on their reputation. One such athlete is Eric Buell, ex-Formula One motorcycle racer who started his business in his garage fueled by his passion for motorcycles. The man behind a new breed of hooligan sports machines stuck to his guns and pursued his vision through good and bad times, with bankruptcy looming more than once. Through his ability to pass on his commitment to others, Eric Buell formed a formidable partnership with Harley-Davidson, whose influence can be seen and more importantly heard through the entire range. Based on the large capacity 45-degree V-twin Harley-Davidson is famous for, the Buell American motorcycle range boasts names like Cyclone and Lightning models, and their trademark feature is mass centralization, which basically means the weight is in the center of the frame, creating extra responsiveness to rider input. Handling, along with power output and lack of plastic body panels, creates a kick-ass package, which not only looks the part, but delivers the goods, as any test rider will tell you. Stunt riders in particular have taken a shine to the Buell for its durability and centre of balance, which comes in handy when getting either end of the bike off the ground. Torque is good too, especially low down, for making some extreme tyre smoking action. The only problem with a bike with this much output is finding the right sponsorship to deal for rubber. And after all, not too many manufacturers like to see their product shredded in 10 minutes. Nobody knows exactly where the term Chinese downhill originally came from. Some say it's based on the downhill rush to get at the Muller lode from the goldfields. Others are of the opinion that the Chinese are simply fast downhill. Either way, if there is gold in these hills, you ain't gonna spot it from the chopper. The Chinese downhill has become a much anticipated feature of the Rip Curl Heli Challenge, held in New Zealand each year. And apart from giving the competitors a chance to shred some spectacular scenery, it also makes for spectacular coverage, providing the cameras are in the right place, which is not always easy to do. The Heli Challenge is held within a time window of 2 weeks, depending on the weather conditions and accessibility, which adds an extra element to the skill level required to take part, as no two courses are the same, an added bonus for some of these athletes. The basic idea of the Chinese downhill is to make it from the top to the bottom of the run in the fastest possible time. And as there are no practice runs, this makes for serious action. Any other rules in an event like this would only give the riders extra problems to think about. Something which there's not much time for, as this event is a doing type of thing. Just for a blast of nostalgia on Fearless TV, we thought we'd check out some spectacular scenery from above, in the playground of the rich and brainless. The age-old sport of hang gliding is always an excellent way to clear the dust particles from the brain, and it helps if airborne over some of the most pristine views on the globe. It doesn't matter that the equipment is not state-of-the-art. What is important are facial expressions and general serious concentration on the sport. We have it on good authority that this location is actually a secret training ground for up-and-coming James Bond stunt doubles. You may have already seen one of our heroes in a Bond feature without realising. Here, some of the stunt doubles are learning the highly complicated method of using the mouth as an extra piece of aerodynamic equipment. After all, you never know when you have to fly off a cliff face using only your lips and gums as propulsion. The finding a spot to land training sequence is part of the advanced section of the course, something these boys will tackle next week. Big Mal's or Malibu boards have been around since the Duke first stepped off his favourite Hawaiian island on a plank the size of a barge into the pounding surf for some R&R. Although the surfboard design has changed radically over the years, with board shapers going towards shorter and fatter, the Mal itself has only received some subtle modifications. The sheer size and buoyancy of the Malibu makes it an ideal learning vehicle and a good cruiser on medium-sized waves. Its size and stability also make it ideal for learning old school tricks, which were popular in the days when everybody rode these monsters. Grab an old 60s surf movie and have a look if you get a chance. The most popular stunt by far if you're on a Mal would have to be the nose wall, or hanging 5 or even 10 as they used to call it. No problem on these monsters, even with the weight transfer, they're as solid as a rock. Once you master the art of manoeuvring these big boats around, there's room to put together a whole sequence of tricks the girls on the beach will go wild for. Maybe a nose ride to 360 would cap it off. Jet boats have become a favourite thrill-seeking pastime of bored tourists all over the world. And wherever there's a navigatable river to be found, preferably with sheer cliff faces and jagged rocks jutting into the water, you can be sure there'll be a jet boat screaming up or downstream, filled with thrill seekers, screaming loud enough to scare the fish. While accidents are rare, margin for error here is small, and clipping the wall of rocks can have some serious consequences. Most people these days know how to ride a bike, but these guys have managed to combine BMX with the great Aussie outdoors. And that's why this sequence wins our Fearless TV Play of the Day. Keep an eye out for our cameraman at the end. Way off in the remotest parts of the Yukon, dog teams and their owners would never dream of doing what you're about to witness. But these guys are an inventive lot, and obviously the dogs don't get enough exercise when they're not working. Apparently there's an official start line here somewhere, but no one knows exactly where. All right, then let's just start running. Okay then, the downhill section. This proves the dogs are obviously smarter than their owners. Now we proudly bring you the start of the human sled section. At this point, the dogs are not sure what's got into their owners, so they pretend to enjoy themselves by barking loudly. Finally, it's all over, and all the dogs gather to review their owner's level of stupidity. Now we're just waiting for instructions on what to do next. Unfortunately, while they're sorting out this confusion by barking and whistling, we've run out of time. We'll see you on the next bone-crunching episode of Fearless TV.